Augusta's signature weapon is by far the only weapon in the game that offers quite a huge amount of enemy defense rate, up to 36% at R1, which can look like a huge damage boost. So it's time to put it to the test and compare the damage output with Verdant Summit, which has a 100% synergy with Augusta. What makes it even better is that Augusta's normal liberation consists of 2 consecutive attack animations. So the first one procs the second stack of Verdant Summit after an intro skill, and the second attack animation, which deals the highest damage, will now benefit from the 48% heavy attack damage bonus that the weapon provides. So Augusta has no issues with activating the passive and maintaining it for a longer period due to her ability to stop time with her special liberation that freezes all kinds of buffs from weapons and outros, but still remains active after stopping time when she's doing damage. Before we proceed any further, be sure to keep in mind that the footage used in this video was captured on the media server, so some things may be subject to change in the future. The pinned comment will be updated whenever that happens. The victim for this test will be Dragon of Dirge because the middle tower provides external buffs that may affect the accuracy of the damage comparisons. I'll be providing the showcase for the 2 weapons at R1 first before we dive deeper into what influence any damage increase or damage reductions, so you can always refer to the runs if you see something fishy. Let's begin with her signature weapon. This is the build that I'll be running on all teammates. The substats look the same because it's intentionally made that way for testing purposes on the media server. So that means you should be doing more damage than me, since all the substats are the lowest possible rolls that you can get. Alright, here we go. Here's the build that I'll be running for Verdant Summit. The builds for the rest of the characters remains the same. Alright, here we go.
Fury boils! Burn to ashes! Let's do this another way. By my side! Invincible! Sing of my triumph! All lost! Acceptable! One strike is enough! Wow, from the soul! Fury
The difference in clear times is 2 seconds, which is not that significant, but to my surprise, Verdant Summit was actually clearing faster than her signature weapon. But let's dive a bit deeper and see what is actually happening here. The normal liberation hit 116k damage for her signature weapon, while it hit 119k damage for Verdant Summit. The Fortress Circuit damage or the Griffin Plunge hit 159k damage for her signature weapon, while it hit 163k damage for Verdant Summit. Each basic attack hit for the teleportation attacks was hitting 24.3k damage for her signature weapon, and it hit 24.9k damage for Verdant Summit. Finally, the last strike after casting her special liberation was hitting 182k damage for her signature weapon, and 187k damage for Verdant Summit. So, is Verdant Summit actually better than her signature weapon? The answer is yes and no. You can see that the difference between her main sources of doing damage for both weapons is not that huge. But let's try to understand why Verdant Summit came out on top at R1 versus her signature weapon at R1. The difference in heavy attack damage bonus did not have that much effect because it adds up to electro damage bonus, which we get 109% if we consider the double electro damage bonus that we're running, the 12% from the 4-cost Echo, the 10% from 2-piece Void Thunder, and the 15% from her passive. So the 36% enemy defense shred is what we should focus on, but it can be a bit misleading. I want you to think of defense shred as a decimal number that is lower than 1 and multiplies your overall damage to reduce it. But before the decimal can be calculated, it takes your character's level and the enemy's level into consideration, so your damage is always reduced by about 50% if you don't have any defense shred like the run with Jiyan's signature weapon. However, other buffs can make up for the damage reduction when comparing the two weapons. Stacking the crit damage from her signature effect gives 233% crit damage for her signature weapon and 281 crit damage for Verdant Summit. So that means that the crit multiplier for Verdant Summit, which you can also think of as a decimal number that can be higher than 1, was large enough to completely overshadow the defense multiplier that reduces your damage, even though we had no defense shred on Jiyan's signature weapon. So in simple terms, we need more than 36% defense shred before her weapon will perform better than Verdant Summit, and R2 did the trick. With 42% defense shred, I began to notice an increase in damage with her signature weapon compared to Verdant Summit, even though there was no increase in crit damage, and just a 5% increase to heavy attack damage bonus. Normal Liberation hit 124k damage, Griffin Plunge hit 170k damage, basic attacks after casting her special liberation hit 26k damage, and the last hit was 195k damage. So, the performance between the two weapons at R1 is roughly the same in terms of damage output, but I had to restart my runs so many times to get consistent crits with Verdant Summit, and this is mainly because my crit rate stats are quite terrible if I'm being honest. But you won't have the same issue if you spend more resources to better optimize your Echo substats, because she has crit rate on her skill tree. So you should be looking at around 75% crit rate with Verdant Summit without Showkeeper. I hope this video provided some value to you, and if it did, leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel because it's free and you can always change your mind. Be sure to also join our Discord community if you're having any issues with the game or you just want to play the show or hang out. Link will be in the pinned comment below. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.